I don't know who needs to hear this, but a girl's trip will show you who actually likes you and who's just been tolerating you in group chats. I learned that the hard way. In Miami, with 3 women, 1 Airbnb, 0 boundaries, and a whole lot of delusion. What was supposed to be a fun weekend turned into a 4-day hostage situation with mimosas. By the end, we weren't friends, we were survivors. It was me, Shay, Bianca, and London. Shay, type A, loud, bossy, walks fast for no reason, thinks a day without a schedule is a sin. Bianca, IG baddie with more lip gloss than morals, will flirt with a potted plant if it's tall enough. London, boho vibes, bad credit, probably hasn't been to the dentist since Obama was in office. The drama started at the airport. London rolled up to baggage claim with no suitcase, just a sheen tote and vibes. I'm traveling light, she said. Nah, baby, you're traveling broke. She didn't even bring a toothbrush, just assumed we'd all share, like sisterhood meant swapping saliva. When we got to the Airbnb, Shay started barking orders like we were in basic training. You take this room. Bianca, you get the couch. I need the one with the balcony because I have IBS and need sunlight. Girl? What? Bianca was too busy doing a live on IG to care. London had already taken her shoes off and was using the dish towel to wipe her armpits. And me? I just sat on the edge of the couch and whispered to myself, this was a mistake. God tried to warn me, and I ignored him. That night, we went to dinner. We were supposed to go to Prime 112. Classy. Bougie. A vibe. But we ended up at some knockoff sushi spot because London left her card at home and Bianca didn't want to mess up her makeup in the humidity. By the time the check came, London had the audacity to say, y'all mind covering me? I'll cash app you when my cousin sends me the deposit. Bitch. What cousin? What deposit? The delusion. Shay damn near flipped the table. Bianca just pulled out lip gloss and said, not y'all fighting over a little crab roll. I laughed so hard I cried. Then cried because I realized I still had 3 more nights with them. But that night, me and Shay sat on the balcony while the others were asleep. I don't know why I even came, she said quietly. I blinked. What? She shrugged. I'm tired of holding everything together. I always plan, always pay, and still get called a bitch for it. For the first time all trip, I saw her soften, like the bark had been covering bruises. I admitted, sometimes I feel like I get it invited out of pity, like the filler friend. She looked me dead in the eye and said, you're the only one here that has a damn soul. We hugged. For 5 seconds, I thought maybe the trip wasn't a total loss. Day 2, we attempted the beach. Bianca wore a string bikini so tiny I'm pretty sure she invented a new form of nudity. She took 147 selfies and then said I'm good, I didn't even want to swim. You came to the ocean, to pose and go. Meanwhile, London had a yeast infection and was squatting in the sand like she was about to lay an egg. She said she couldn't wear her bathing suit because it made her itchy. Shay whispered to me, she'd been itchy since TSA. I nearly choked on my coconut water. Later, Bianca got approached by a man wearing ankle monitors and fake Dior slides. They left together. She came back at 4 a.m., limping and talking about healing her divine feminine. Girl, you're healing a UTI. The next morning, I made coffee and found Bianca alone in the kitchen. No lashes, no filter, no front. I'm tired of pretending I got it together, she said, staring into her mug. Half the stuff I post I don't even like. I just do it for likes, and sometimes I still feel invisible. I blinked. That wasn't the Bianca I knew. That wasn't the girl who told a waiter to get his coins up for looking at her wrong. I told her, honestly, I envy you sometimes. You walk like you own the world. She smiled. Fake it till you fake it again. We both laughed, then hugged. Again, I thought, maybe we're going to be okay. Day 3, Shay tried to force us into a 9 a.m. itinerary that included kayaking, brunch, and a Black History walking tour. Bianca said she was too tired. London said she had to meditate. I said I needed Jesus and a ride home. The final straw, we got invited to a yacht party. Shay told us to be ready by 3 p.m. Bianca didn't start her makeup until 3:45. London wore my bathing suit, the one I bought special for this trip, and stretched it out like it was hers. I said, girl, is that mine? She said, you don't even like how it fits you. I blacked out. When I came to, we were in the Uber, and Shay was yelling about how she's always the responsible one and everyone else is a bunch of freeloading narcissists with Wi-Fi. We got to the yacht. Bianca threw up over the side 10 minutes in. London took an edible, passed out, and peed on herself. Shay tried to flirt with the captain. He told her to stay in the back. I sat in the corner, eating the free shrimp, texting my mama, and wondering if Spirit Airlines had a "get me out of here" button. Final night. Final dinner. Final straw. I cooked, because I was the only one who remembered what an oven was for. London said, "You use jar sauce? That's kind of lazy." Bianca said, "This doesn't even look aesthetic." Shay said, "You could have at least used gluten-free noodles. Y'all are so inconsiderate." I snapped, "You're eating for free." Dead silence. Then Bianca hit me first. "Oh, so now you got a voice? Weren't you the one crying on the balcony about being a filler friend?" I froze. Shay blinked like she couldn't believe what she just heard. Bianca kept going. "Yeah, that little pity party you had with Shay, she told us all about it." My heart sank. I looked at Shay. Her mouth opened. No denial, just guilt. Then London jumped in. "And don't act high and mighty now. You used to talk about Bianca like a dog. I remember when you said her breath smelled like mildew." "I said that in college," I screamed. Bianca stood up. "Well, it still applies, bitch." Shay stood up too, red-faced. "Y'all want to come for me like I'm the villain? Bianca, you owe everyone money. London, you smell like a bag of onions and whatever type of fungal infection you got going on down there. And you," she pointed at me, "you sit back judging like you don't talk about all of us behind our backs." London's eyes widened. That's rich coming from the woman who cried when her man followed his ex on Instagram. Shay's voice cracked. "You don't know shit about us." London smiled, slow and dangerous. "I know a lot more than you think I do, baby. I have receipts," London said. "Because he's been texting me." Room. Spun. Bianca gasped and laughed at the same time. "Yo, this is better than my live," I snapped. "You've been sleeping with Shay's man?" London grinned. "We never slept, but he's definitely been venting to me." Shay lunged. Bianca tried to block her with a salad bowl. It shattered on the floor. London shoved the table. Shay screamed. Bianca was recording. I grabbed my suitcase with one hand and my dignity with the other. Bianca yelled, "Don't leave now. You're the only one whose trauma hasn't gone viral yet." I turned back and said, "Keep filming. Maybe the algorithm will finally see you." She gasped. London threw her drink. Shay threw a chair. I slammed the door behind me. That night we all slept in different rooms, in silence, in shame, in separate corners of what used to be friendship. Miami didn't just end our friendship. It exposed it, shattered it. And honestly, I'm grateful. Because there's nothing more freeing than walking away from fake friends while they burn the whole thing down, in your own damn swimsuit. The best man at my wedding wanted to take my place at the altar. And the worst part? He almost did. Jasmine and I had been together for over 3 years before I finally decided to pop the question. Full disclosure, she went out on a date with my boy Dante once. One date. A couple days of texting. Never got physical. Just a week-long spark that fizzled out fast. So when I started feeling her, I asked him straight up. He shrugged and said, "That's all you." Typical Dante. Always on to the next one. He wasn't the type to sweat women. He was the hit-and-run type. Play and keep it moving. Or so I thought. We were best friends in college, lived together, traveled together, broke rules together. I thought it was a no-brainer to ask him to be my best man. Boy, was I wrong. I should have known something was off at the engagement. He couldn't make it, claimed he had a work trip, which was weird because I proposed on a holiday weekend. Flights were cheap. Nobody works those Fridays. Even when Micah texted the group chat about Vegas for the bachelor party, Dante took 3 days to reply. No hype, no planning help, just, "I'm in." Figured he was still living that solo bachelor lifestyle. Thought he was too busy being wild to care. But looking back, every delay, every dodge, every silence was deliberate, and the truth was a hell of a lot darker than I ever imagined. We got to Vegas on a Thursday. Micah looked like he brought spreadsheets. Dante walked out the terminal like he owned the whole damn strip. He dabbed me up, grinned, handed me a drink in a red cup, and said, "To the last weekend of your life." I laughed. Micah didn't. The suite Dante booked was next level. 3 bedrooms, floor-to-ceiling windows, liquor on every surface, condoms on the nightstand. Subtle, I said. Dante winked. I like a suite that encourages poor choices. That first night was wild. Club, champagne, lights, Music. But then Dante started doing what Dante does, turning the dial up on everybody else's night. He kept trying to get girls to dance on me, push drinks into my hand, whisper in my ear. One last fling, bro. She'd never find out. You sure you ready for one vagina for the rest of your life? I laughed it off, but Micah kept side-eyeing him. At one point, he even pulled me aside. Yo, you think he's really over her? What? Jasmine? The way he keeps saying her name? I don't know, man. I waved it off. But deep down, I heard it too. Saturday night, we hit this low-key rooftop lounge. Vibes, whiskey, jazz, real grown. Dante's quiet, stirring his drink. Then he says it. You ever think she picked you because you were safe? I blink. What? She dated me first. You know that, right? You mean that 2-week thing where y'all went to Chipotle and texted? He laughed, bitter. Still counts. I was first. You were second. I stared at him. He pulled out his phone. Opened a screen. DMs. Supposedly from Jasmine. Came out of nowhere a few weeks ago. Said she missed what we had. Said you didn't get her the way I did. I froze. She didn't send that. You sure? He tossed the phone on the table like it burned him. I wasn't going to tell you, but you needed to know. I lost it. Stormed out. Called Jasmine. The second she picked up, I said, You still in love with Dante? What? You messaging him behind my back now? What the hell are you talking about? He showed me. Said you miss him, that you think I don't get you like he did. She paused, then snapped. He faked that. Stop lying. He faked that. He's been messaging me for months. I ignored him, blocked him, and didn't say anything because I didn't want this to ruin your friendship. My hands were shaking. Prove it. She didn't flinch. FaceTime me. She shared her screen, pulled up her DMs, went straight to the block list, then to the message requests. And there it was. Dante's name. Message after message after message. You know it should have been us. You settling? I bet he doesn't touch you like I did. Don't lie. Some part of you still wants me. She hadn't responded once. I stood there in silence, staring at a truth I didn't want to believe, and I hated myself for even doubting her. I walked back into the suite, fists clenched. Dante was in the kitchen, pouring a drink like it was any other night. You're a fucking liar. He turned. You talked to her? You tried to ruin my life. She was mine first. You said she was nothing. She wasn't, until she picked you. I stepped toward him, and that's when he smirked and dropped the real threat. You sure you want to come at me, man? You want me to tell her about that night 2 years ago? My stomach dropped. He leaned in closer. You remember, the night you were fighting with Jasmine, and your ex came to your apartment? The one you swore you were done with? He said it quietly, low but sharp. You kissed her. You told me. You said you were done with Jasmine, that you didn't think she was the one. You forget that? 'Cause I didn't. My jaw clenched. You wouldn't. He smiled. I will. You want to destroy me? Fine, but I'll take your wedding down with me. I swung, fist to jaw. We crashed through the bar. Bottles exploded, glass everywhere. Micah ran in yelling. We hit the wall, the table, the floor. It took Micah and a hotel staff member to separate us. I had a busted lip. Dante had a black eye. He looked at me through swelling and blood and said, She should have picked me. I left that night. Didn't say goodbye. Didn't call Jasmine until I landed. Didn't look at the ring once. Because nothing cuts deeper than betrayal in a tuxedo. And nothing's worse than a best man who wanted to be the groom. I picked her up from a weather-beaten duplex that looked like it should have come with a tetanus shot. Paint peeling, trash on the curb, rusty wind chimes clinking in the wind. She came out dragging a suitcase with a busted wheel, wearing a whatever forever shirt that looked like it never met an iron or washing machine. You're late, she said, lighting a cigarette before she even hit the last step. You're lucky I showed up. She glanced at the urn in the front seat. Dead mom riding shotgun. Cute. I didn't laugh. Didn't even smile. I just drove. Claire's 10 years older than me. She was a ghost in my life. Always running away from home, in and out of jail and rehab centers. She was the problem child. I wasn't. She never called. I never asked. We hadn't spoken in 4 years. But Mom begged me to find her. Her final wish was for us to go there, to spread her ashes at the lake in her hometown. It was the only thing she ever asked of me. I promised I would. First 200 miles? Silence, except for Claire coughing and the AC rattling like it was scared of her. Then, somewhere in Indiana, I glanced over and asked, "You always chew like that? Or just when you're stressed?" She smirked. "Do you still have a stick up your ass?" I didn't answer. She grinned. "Still sensitive. Some things never change." We pulled off at some off-brand diner. Claire ordered black coffee and asked for a shot of Jack. They didn't serve the second part. "You know," she said, stirring her spoon, pausing slowly, "you weren't around for the real Mom." My eyes pierced hers. "Slower now. She was always good to me. Yeah, to you." She stared at the steam like it held all the secrets. "She got her act together with you. Before that? She drank every night, screamed louder, hit harder." I blinked. "She hit you?" Claire's voice softened but sharp. "How nice it must be to ask that?" She just smiled, took a long, quiet sip. Outside Chicago, we got pulled over. Speeding. Expired tags. The cop approached, looking annoyed. "Whose car is this?" he asked. "It's mine, but she's driving," I said. He eyed the urn in the passenger seat. "What's in the box?" Claire jumped in before I could. That's my mother's ashes. We're just on our way to spread 'em. Nothing to see here, officer." The cop wasn't buying it. "Got any ID or registration for the car?" Claire smirked. "Officer, don't you have anything better to do?" He cracked a smile but stayed firm. "Step out of the vehicle, both of you." We both got out. 10 minutes baking in the sun while Claire kept up her mouth, joking and baiting the cop. I was livid. "You can't shut up for 10 minutes?" she shot back. "Can't you do anything without acting like you're better than everyone?" "I am better than you." "Oh yeah? Keep thinking that. Maybe one day it'll be true. I would have turned out great too if I was born with a silver spoon." We finally got back in the car, and I seethed all the way out of Illinois. Halfway through Iowa, we stopped to sign the final estate paperwork. I thought it'd be routine, but the lawyer made it a scene. He cleared his throat, sliding the thick documents across the table. "As per the last will and testament of your mother," he said, voice slow and deliberate, "all real estate properties, including the family home in Wisconsin, are bequeathed to Claire." He paused, looking directly at me, then back to Claire. "The financial accounts, totaling over $500,000, shall also be transferred to Claire." He flipped a page. "The personal effects, including your mother's wedding ring, will be inherited by Claire." With each item he named, Claire's name echoed in the room like a punch to my gut. I felt a heavy pit open in my chest. Was this really love? Did she ever care about me at all? "You're kidding." "No mistake," the lawyer said, eyes steady. I turned to Claire, confusion and hurt twisting inside me. "She left you everything? After all you put her through?" Claire didn't flinch. "She left it to the one who needed it most." I shook my head, doubt gnawing at me. Did she really love me, or was I just nothing? She softened then, voice low. "Hey, she wasn't perfect, but you mattered to her in ways you might never see." I didn't know what to say. Later that night, cheap motel, the floodgates opened. "You ever wonder how she even got all that money?" she asked. "Did you ever see her work a day in her life?" I stayed quiet. "She got it from multiple men, real estate guys, some businessmen. Houses, cars, gifts, cash. They paid for everything. Then they ghosted her when she finally sobered up." I scoffed. "You really think I'm going to believe that? That Mom was some gold digger?" She turned to me slowly. "Believe what you want. But the woman you knew? She didn't exist until you were born." She took a breath. A long one. "She turned me against my father." I looked up. "What?" Claire's voice cracked for the first time all trip. "Made me testify against him, said he hit her, said he drank, said he was dangerous. I believed her." She looked down. "Turns out none of it was true. He just wanted custody. He wanted me." A pause. "And I gave him up." "In court." Said the words she told me to. Watched him cry in front of the judge. She blinked hard. "He died 5 years later. Alone. From a heart attack. I never saw him again." Another pause. "And she still never let me say his name in her house." I nodded slowly. I guess the guilt was too much for her. I didn't know what to say. Because now, it was all making sense. All of it. The men, the money, the silence. Mom had never worked a job, not that I could remember. She always said, "Life provides for the faithful." Now I wondered who life really was. 2 hours from the lake, I pulled into a rest stop. Claire got out, lit a cigarette, looking tired of existing. I opened the trunk, stared at the urn. "Why do you even care?" I asked. She stepped closer. "Because I knew her. I knew the version you didn't. I lived through it. Slept on floors while she cried over men who didn't love her. Got hit when she couldn't find her vodka. I shook my head. That's not the mom I knew. Exactly. She reached for the urn. I pulled it away. We started tugging. Ashes. Regret. Grief. Let go. You don't deserve her. Snap. The urn hit the ground. Ashes everywhere. On the pavement. In the grass. In the wind. A gust blew some into a trash can. Some on Claire's hoodie. We both just stared. Claire brushed Mom off her shoulder. Well, she muttered, guess that's fitting. We didn't talk the rest of the drive. Didn't even look at each other. At one point she whispered, You know, I didn't ask for any of this. I said, Neither did I. She nodded, turned to the window, and disappeared again. We never made it to the lake. But I learned something anyway. Ashes don't lie. They scatter where the wind takes them. And sometimes, so does the truth. It's been nearly 5 years since that trip. Afterward, Claire made an effort to keep in touch. I resisted at first. Old wounds don't heal overnight, but I couldn't help but notice the change in her. The sincerity in her voice. I figured the least I could do was entertain her calls once a month. That stretched to every 2 weeks. Now, we talk every day. She gave me half of everything. The properties, insisting it was mine just as much as hers. Claire completely turned her life around. Been sober nearly 5 years now. Not even touched a cigarette. Got married too. Has a son with a man who loves her like she deserves. I'm an uncle now. The irony? She spent most of her life running from Mom, refusing to be her, only to follow in her footsteps in the best way possible. Sober. Reborn. Finally at peace. Sometimes, ashes scatter exactly where they're supposed to, even if it takes time to find the wind.